All right, so for a majority of my life, I have suffered with
Happy and young, they're full of fun. The Herberts are here for everyone.
Hi, guys.
And welcome back to our channel. I am Abbie Herbert and
I am Josh.Herbert.
we are
That sounded like Josh.Herbert.
Josh.
I said it too fast.
Well,
Josh.Herbert. Josh.Herbert.
Josh.
Say Josh.Herbert fast.
Josh.Herbert. Josh.Herbert.
Josh.Herbert. Hey guys, if you would, just real quick, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel and turn on post notifications. I don't even know what that does, but it'll let you know when we have new videos out twice a week.
We think. Now that we got all of that out of the way, we were sitting and talking. I did a thing on my Instagram. It said, ask me about anything that you guys want to know about us. And we got a ton of questions about like mental health and if either of us have struggled with anything. And it's weird because we've talked about it. We've been on 2 podcasts now. Josh has openly talked about some things on this podcast, but we've never talked about it on our channel or on anything. I don't think you've talked about it on Instagram, really. I haven't talked about it on TikTok or YouTube. So we thought this would be the perfect opportunity to just sit down and chat and let Josh tell you some things that he has personally gone through. Yeah, this is something that we have struggled with as a couple. This is something Josh has struggled with his entire life. And it's something that I've had to learn to deal with because it's something that I've never personally have gone through. So I think it is time to tell your story if you want to take it away. Did I do a good job?
I think you did. All right, so for a majority of my life, I have suffered with panic disorder. I first had my first panic attack, which I had no idea what was going on, when I was 10 years old. So rewind, I'm going to be 31, so that's almost 21 years. And I've pretty much had them daily since then, if not, a couple times a week, but it's mainly it was a daily occurrence, especially through my younger life. So trying to think back to the first time I had a panic attack, it was actually when I was 10 years old. It happened when we were at church and I started getting really hot and sweaty. My heart rate started accelerating and it was just a sheer fear of death. Like I felt like I was dying. I had no idea what was happening. My dad was next to me. I was like, I gotta go outside, and he helped me outside and I almost like passed out. Very scary. And I was 10 years old at the time, so I had no idea what was going on. And by no means am I a professional, I'm just telling you guys my experience. And the reason I kind of want to be open about this was because when I was younger, I was looking for answers. I thought I was the only person who had this. It was a very lonely feeling. And now I wish there was people out there I could be like, oh my gosh, like this person has this. This is like what I have.
Normal.
And it's normal. A lot more people have this than you would think. It's a lot more common. A lot of people deal with it in different ways. And for people who don't know what a panic attack feels like, it can,
like me,
like Abbie, it can range, from very mild to very extreme. And I've had all sides of it. Your heart rate accelerates extremely fast. You feel like you're gonna have you feel like your heart's gonna explode. You tense up, you start sweating because it's triggering your flight. I've tried to explain it to people, and it's kind of like, my best way to explain it is if you were little playing in a swimming pool or something and your friend or somebody dunked you underwater, right? And it's like, okay, and you're underwater, you're getting dunked. And then you're like, okay, I need to come up for air, but you're still being dunked under there. And you're like, oh, okay, I need to air. It's kind of that like really scary, panicky. You lose control. But yeah, so like throughout high school, I was mainly busy with hockey, which was another comfort zone. I had my teammates, very comfortable bubble, if you will. So I was comfortable with everyone, but nobody knew I had panic, and I didn't express that. I was embarrassed. And there is a stigma, especially with males and mental disorders. It's kind of like, it's a shame, but it almost, I felt it was a sign of weakness. And I didn't talk about it. I was so embarrassed that I had this.
Now, would you say when you went through your breakup, like it got worse, like in college?
In college, it got really bad. I actually, it got so bad that I went to a psychiatrist and they prescribed me medication, which I'd never taken any sort of medication for mental health before. I hated it. And that's just for me. It works for some people, and that's great. It's helped a lot of people. There were times I couldn't even leave my dorm room. I couldn't even go to class because I just had so much anxiety about even walking to class. But I got through it, and a lot of the times I got through it was because I had a strong team of people around me, my hockey teammates, my friends. And my close friends knew I had anxiety, but I don't know if anyone knew to the extreme amounts I was having.
So you started out college with a girlfriend,
Yep.
had a breakup.
Yep.
And then how was that anxiety dating? Because there was a time frame where obviously before we met. So how was that anxiety in dating? Because I know that has been a question I get all the time. Like, you know, I have anxiety. How did you and Josh meet? How did you get over those uncomfortable situations? So someone with anxiety, how did you get over that?
Yeah, so pretty much after my sophomore year, my single life began, but I was so anxious and so nervous. I really focused on music, and I think that's what really helped my anxiety because it just helped me all around. I think that's why I became so gravitated towards music, was because it was my outlet, it was my medicine. So after college, I spent some time with a friend. I lived on a couch in New York City. Panic attacks every day, pretty much. Didn't date when I was in New York City. I just focused on music. It was all music. That was my girlfriend. If that makes sense. I just wanted somebody to connect with and not have to go out with them, if that makes sense, because I was so anxious. And I finally started to realize, like, okay, you know, you need to start just getting yourself out there. So I would push myself, and here and there I'd go on like little dates, but nothing like serious, nothing extreme. I wasn't looking for anything long term. But then along came Abbie.
Here I
and
am.
Everything changed.
So we finally hung out on a Sunday, but I could tell you were nervous. Like,
yeah.
I could just tell. Like, I know Josh now.
I get kind of like awkward.
Yes, I know Josh now, and anytime we're out in public and I know he's getting like anxious, I have to tell him, like, stop. Like, I can tell he'll start stretching or, like, you know, crossing his legs, and that's what you did a lot on our first date.
Yeah, it's just subtle movements, and I used to, like, I am a little awkward, and that's fine, you know, I've accepted
But it worked. It worked. We moved very quickly, like, which I never truly asked you, like, how did that happen with your anxiety? Because I moved in, truly, I really didn't move in till I finished that semester of college, but, like, I was with him 5 days a week and up here, like, staying with him. I don't think I've ever asked. I don't think I ever said, like, hey, do you want to live together?
Pretty much just moved in.
We just did it.
Abbie and I went on a date. I took her to a Penguin game. For those of you who don't know, it's an NHL team. It's like my favorite team of all time. But that was tough for me. I remember on the drive there, you know, it was just me and Abbie, and, like, we're talking. I was, like, so nervous because I was like, oh my God, like, what if... It was all because I was worried about having a panic attack on the date with her because I was like, oh my God, she's going to think I'm such an idiot if I start getting, like, anxiety and, like, you know, all this stuff. And that sense of embarrassment just, like, floods your head because, you know, I see this whole thing like, wow, I'd love to date this girl, like, long term. Like, I haven't felt that way in a while. Don't ruin this. So it was like this,
and there was
like,
so much, you hid everything. I knew nothing.
Yeah.
I thought I knew nothing
She
about
thought I was
anxiety.
just, like, a weird, awkward.
No, I just knew I knew he was nervous, but, like, I knew nothing about your anxiety, knowing now that he can't get into elevators, he doesn't like crowds, he's always looking for exits. Like, I knew nothing. We were going to this big Penn's arena game.
Yeah. I'm very claustrophobic, so that might stem from it, like elevators, airplanes, anything where I'm confined is really what is almost like a pulse for panic and anxiety. It's like a trigger.
A couple months into dating, Josh would always tell me, I have a doctor's appointment. It was every Thursday or every other Thursday or just something along those lines. And I'd never thought, I was like, oh, just a doctor's appointment. And that was him going to his therapist, but you were still never told, like, I don't know, were you embarrassed or were you just not, like, why didn't you just say, like, I'm going to my therapist?
I think the hardest part for me was initially picking up the phone and calling to get help. And that was probably almost a couple months before I met Abbie. I just kind of hit a breaking point. I had some opportunities in music coming up and I was going to have to fly. And I know they're safe and everything. It's just, I get panic attacks every time I fly and you're trapped on there. You just got to get through it. That was the hardest thing for me, was picking up the phone, getting an appointment, but it changed my life really, because at that moment I accepted, okay, I have panic disorder. And I think a lot of people are looking for the answer, and the answer is accepting yourself how you are. You know, I still have panic attacks. It's a part of me, but now it's not this crutch anymore. It's just, oh, I kind of have it. And you give it less power, which in turn gives yourself more power and more acceptance. Now, when I get panic attacks, it's not like, oh my God, I'm going to die, I'm having a panic attack. Now it's like, I'm having a panic attack. Hold on.
Yeah.
It gives it a lot less power. So that being said, I was super embarrassed, and I never told Abbie till we got a little bit closer. You know,
she's like, oh, that's cool.
She kind of like accepted it. And I think somebody who struggles with panic disorder or extreme anxiety, when you have someone like you love or you're dating and they're like, they totally accept you for that, because your whole life you think this is such a bad thing, when in turn it's not at all. By no means is it bad. And I think that's an important thing to relay onto people watching, or people who have it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with you.
But I wasn't always the perfect partner either, because I personally have never dealt with anxiety. So it did take me a while to learn and understand, but it did take me a while. So if you are someone who has a partner or friend that has anxiety that you don't know how to deal with, just really listen and sit down and just ask them, like, what's your triggers? What can I do? Because me yelling and screaming, grow up, wasn't going to fix the situation, because it put so much pressure on him to just get over it. But when reality, that's not how you should deal with it. You needed to take those techniques that you learn to breathe, to push through. Because even your therapist was like, you do need to get on a plane. Don't ever not get on a plane because you're scared. So now that you know what Josh deals with on a daily and kind of how I am dealing with it, and I'm still learning from him, I think it's time for Josh to kind of just some examples on how he gets through those panic attacks, because he gets them daily.
First things first, call and get professional help, on whether it's a therapist, your regular doctor, and just tell them what's going on. Once you release that embarrassment or whatever you're holding on to, it gives it a lot less power.
I recommend talking to a family member, a friend, someone that you can open up to, a teacher, anyone. Don't ever hold it in quietly to yourself, because that's not going to benefit anyone, and it's definitely not going to benefit you.
The most important thing to know is anybody who's suffering from panic attacks, when you have a panic attack and it's happening, it will always end. Just know that, and breathing is the number one most important thing that has helped me. Taking deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, just helps collect yourself, lowers your heart rate. Eating healthy has helped tremendously for me, and drinking a lot of water. I meditate daily. I try to do 5 to 10 minutes of meditation, deep breathing. Another thing that has helped me in the past year is taking cold showers. It's changed my life for the better. If you're interested in cold therapy and cold showers, Wim Hof is a great person to check out. I was a bit skeptical whenever I was first doing it, but your body doesn't lie. My body craves the cold now, because it's doing something for me, especially with my panic disorder. It's helped that a lot. I still get panic every day. It's not like I cured my panic disorder. I've just accepted that I have this, and I've learned to live with it, and it's a part of me, and I've learned to accept it. And accepting that, it gives it a lot less power over you. I hope that helped somebody out there today. And like I said, if you know somebody who's struggling with panic disorder, send this link over to them. This is a reason, now that we have a platform, I've kind of held off. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to talk about this, but I think it's important, and I really want to talk about this. Like I said, even if it just helps one person. And
our DMs are always open. I understand if you don't feel comfortable sharing your story in the comments, but you can always try and message us. We try to get back to as many people as we
try to.
Can.
As you can imagine, sometimes
there's a lot of DMs.
A lot of bots.
Yes, a lot of bots. But feel free. We do have a P.O. box if you want to write to us. Josh loves writing. So
I'll write you back.
So if you ever need anything or someone to talk to, please reach out and make sure you're talking to your friends or family, someone that you can confide in. I think this was amazing of you to share.
It felt good to get
to let it out.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Once again, give us that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. And just remember, you're not alone.
You're not alone. We love you guys.
Love you.